evening and welcome to Meticulous Moments. My name is Juanita Kapp. You can reach me at meticulousmacarons@gmail.com or find me on LinkedIn. Since the COVID-19 pandemic hit the globe, I've had the wonderful privilege to meet a wide array of fantastic individuals. These individuals have truly touched my life in so many positive ways. Amongst this group of people, there are authors, public speakers, life coaches, poets, leaders, and visionaries. They are the unsung heroes of our time. Therefore, I decided to start the Meticulous Moments movement out of a sense of my gratitude. It is my way of giving back to the community. Let us share and reshare their stories in an effort to build a better society. Good day and welcome to this phenomenal interview that I had with Daniel Gasser, very good friend of mine, amazing coach. He is involved in the following: life coaching, career development coaching, copywriting, writing, public speaking, and live events. He is an absolute professional person, such a wonderful contact to know. Network with him, follow him on social media, and let's just cheer him on this wonderful leadership journey that he is on. Daniel Gasser's profile says the following: he's coaching men to shift from silent suffering to open happiness. He writes, stop arguing about what a good man should be and be one. Winning is falling asleep with a smile on your face. If you fell asleep with a smile on your face last night, you are indeed a winner. I guess it's just the way you look at it. Enjoy the session with us, and I'll see you on the other side. Good day, Meticulous Moments audience. Thank you so much for joining us for yet another enlivening session here at the Meticulous Moments podcast, where we facilitate community upliftment through leadership development. And today we have the wonderful privilege of spending time with the amazing Daniel Gasser. I hope I pronounced your surname correctly, Daniel. How are you?
Hey, Juanita, that's right? Yeah.
Good.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here today.
Wonderful, Daniel. Now, you and I met on LinkedIn. My goodness, wonderful journey that we've had so far. We had a virtual coffee. I believe it was a special virtual coffee. It was the first one in your new office. And we've talked on Messenger, and we had a lovely discussion. I just wanted to, ask if you will introduce yourself to the audience for those members who are not acquainted with you yet.
Yeah, of course, with pleasure. So the name, as you said, it's Daniel Gasser. Online name is Daniel G, because for English-speaking people, it's easier to do. And I do several things. I have some online businesses. I'm a businessman, but I also coach people. I coach men. I started to coach men for drinking problems. And now I coach men with emotional, not problems, but let's say we we have some issues of showing our emotions sometimes. And, I think it's important that we change that a little bit.
Yes, I think that's wonderful. Yeah, please continue.
I'm 50 years old. I'm living with my partner for 22 years now. No kids. We both have our businesses. She is a typographer. And that's about it. Based in Switzerland.
Oh my goodness, it must be so beautiful there. Tell me, what is the weather like in Switzerland at the moment?
It's cold, it's rainy, it's like flu weather, we call it here.
I'm sure it looks beautiful when you look outside the window, but I'm also not a fan of the cold weather, but I'm sure that the scenery is beautiful. And you were saying that you are 50 years old, and I thought to myself, my goodness, life only begins at 50. So there's a great adventure awaiting.
Well, I wouldn't put it that way, but I think it's a mindset question. Tomorrow is my birthday, and all of you say, oh, you're getting 1 year older, you're getting 1 year older. And if people don't remind me that it's my birthday, I wouldn't even think of it.
Wow. Happy birthday from Meticulous Moments. And from me, I'm so happy to be the first one to be able to congratulate you.
Thank you. Isn't it bad luck if you congratulate on the wrong day?
No, it's not in our culture. It's actually good. Sometimes I have people 12 o'clock at night, they wait until 1 past 12 and then they phone me on my birthday while I'm still sleeping.
Yeah,
yeah. Yeah, so you and I, we talked and you moved into this new office space and you had your first virtual coffee there with me and you told me how everything fell into place and how you got your office, how you secured your office. I thought that was phenomenal. Would you share that with the audience, please?
Yeah, of course. It's all about manifestations. It's all about getting from the universe what you want. But yeah, maybe we can talk a little bit more later on. I stood in my kitchen Sunday evening, and we had a discussion with my wife. And actually, it was she that wanted to have an extra office because we have two businesses running under the same roof in an apartment for 22 years now. So
my goodness,
it's getting a little bit tiny. And the thing is, before that, it was all fine. Before 2020, you didn't have a lot of Zoom calls. You went out to meet people, and then all these Zoom calls started to happening, and my coaching calls getting more and more and more. And we both said it's different if you have a business call on Zoom than you have a coaching session. And for people, it's important to feel that they have their space with me, with their coach. There's nothing, even if she's not on camera, but she's there. The energy is there. And so we suddenly said, why don't I get an office space? So I called our landlady. She owns a lot of things.
Yeah.
On Sunday, I stood in the kitchen after that discussion, and I was just feeling having that office, being in that office. I was seeing myself there, visualizing myself there, and everything felt just right. So on Monday morning, I called the landlady and I asked her, listen, do you have a small space somewhere I can just put a desk and the computer on it and nothing much? And she said, yeah, actually I have something. It's not that big. I mean, you saw it, right?
Yeah.
It's not that big, and it's a reasonable amount of money. Why don't you come and have a look? So on Tuesday, I had a look, and I saw it's like 30 square meters with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 windows. So you have plenty of daylight, and it's beautiful, it's gorgeous, and it's from the price an absolute no-brainer. So deal. So on Sunday, I manifested it, and on Wednesday, I had the contract.
Fantastic. Wonderful. You see, you're a go-getter. You're definitely a leader. You knew what you had to do. You did it, and, it all just panned out. Now, I know we had a lovely discussion about how you got into coaching and how there were preconceptions in earlier years that it's a weakness to contract a coach, which is a lie, of course. I mean, coaching is one of the most valuable resources available to us. Would you like to tell us how you got into coaching and how did that work?
So I'm the typical male from my generation. Stoic, not showing any emotions, not crying in public, not getting any help for anything. We have to do everything on our own because we are the big male. And I always thought that people who need a coach are losers and weak, and they're not strong enough to manage life on their own. Well, on the retrospect, when looking back, that was kind of really stupid because, as you say, coaching is something that is really helpful because we get a lot of other points of view. We get kicked in the butt, we get kicked out of our comfort zone. We do things we wouldn't do on our own. And I was a drunk for over 30 years. In my younger years, I was a needle junkie and I smoked pot and I did a lot of bad things in my life. And actually, let's put it like this, if I had to go back now and say 3 words to my younger self, say 20-year-old, I would kick him in the butt, first of all.
Yeah.
And I would probably punch him in the face too. And then I would say these 3 words: hire a coach.
Yes.
Because all that stubbornness and all that thinking of having to do everything on my own brought me to a car accident. I should have been injured. I just walked away, and that was my wake-up call. And then I said, okay, I have to change something. I cannot go on like this. Driving drunk and teaching cars and having fight with police and on and on and on. And my wife kept telling me, what has to happen? Do you have to kill someone to actually understand that something is not good?
Yeah.
So that car accident woke me up, and then I decided, okay, I need help. First of all, I have to get rid of alcohol. That I managed to do on my own. After several attempts, I found a good method, which I'm teaching for men who have problems with alcohol. In 30 days, you're
clean. Beautiful.
You're clean. And it really works. And I don't bother being around people drinking. I even have alcohol in my house. So if you would come over, you could have your drink. It wouldn't bother me, which is complete opposite of everything else that is taught in question of alcohol.
Yes.
Now, so I managed to stop drinking. I managed to free myself from that, but I still had the same mindset. I still had the same erroneous thinking of not showing my emotions, of not letting my little boy out to play, of not being tender and attentive, of not all these cliches that a man cannot show and cannot live. So I finally, at the age of 47, finally hired a coach.
Beautiful.
And I couldn't afford him. He was just too expensive. And we met actually on Facebook, and he was based in Switzerland, and we met at the speaking contest. Where he and I were contestants in public speaking. We lost both. We're both decent speakers. He gets paid to speak in public. I get paid to speak in public. It was a different time. So we met there, and he claims to be Europe's number one transformational expert. And I was like, wow, that's a bold statement. So we had a couple of beer. It was before I stopped drinking. We had a couple of beer, and I wanted to know if he's just a big mouth or if he's actually that man he pretends to be. So I asked him, but tell me, come on, man, Europe's number one transformational coach? Are you sure? And he looked at me all calmly and all relaxed and said, yeah. And he said that in such a manner, I was intrigued. I was like, wow, what the hell? So out of the blue, and again, the universe is always in play, right? Out of the blue, I asked him the question, so if I want to know what my higher purpose is in this life, could you tell me? And he looked at me between 2 sips of beer and said, yeah, of course I can tell you. And I was again like, what the hell is going on? You give me XYZ thousands amount of money, and I'll tell you. And normally, in business or in every decision, you don't do deals when you drink alcohol. You should. You sleep over, you talk with your partner, the normal thing. I was like, okay, deal. And that same night, I went to the hotel. It was in Munich, in Germany. And the same night, I went to the hotel. And I said to my wife, listen, I think I made a mistake. She said, what? You drank too much again? Yeah, no, beside of that. And she said, well, what's the mistake? I just promised the guy to pay him XYZ amount of money so that he can tell me what my higher purpose is. And I expected her to say, are you crazy? Are you out of my mind, out of your mind? Tomorrow you call him and you tell him the deal is off.
Yeah.
No, she looked at me and she said calmly, yeah, that's a good thing. Do that.
Wow.
So that was my first experience in being coached.
Yeah.
He's an amazing guy. He's really Europe's #1. And in 10 sessions, I found out what my higher purpose is. And that brought me to coaching, because my mission on this planet is to show people that we're not slaves,
Yes.
that we're divine and creative beings, that we have tremendous powers, that if we just increase our brain activity of some percent, did you know that we all become empathic?
Wow. I did
And
not
really
know that.
empathic. Yeah. Just by several percent. So imagine if we increase our brain percentage by 20%, we would be. And as I think it was Einstein that said we use like 10 or 12% of our capacity.
Little bit, my goodness.
Yeah, and we've been told for now thousands of years that we're small, that we have to shut up, that we have to do our jobs, pay our bills, and get to see a doctor almost every day, otherwise we would die instantly. And we're all in that mindset of being weak and dependent, but that's not true. We're human. No, we're human beings. It's our planet. It's our natural environment. We can grow as old as we possibly want, you know? And so that's my mission. And of course, I had to start somewhere, and I didn't want to be a coach. I was like, oh no, there's so many coaches out there. They're just good salesmen. I don't want to be a coach. So I hired another coach who taught me how to be self-confident, how to stand behind the thing. So that started like, I said, I want to help people. I didn't tell him about my mission. I just said, I want to help people. And he, a self-made two-figure millionaire, came out of nothing, dropped out of school very early and did everything on his own. Award-winning, etc., etc. Again, I couldn't afford him really. So he told me, yeah, tell me your story, write down your story. So I wrote down my story, like 6 or 7 pages, and I sent it to him. And he called me and said, are you out of your mind? I said, what did I do? He said, you say you cannot help people, you don't know how to help people. Look at your fucking story. You were a little junkie, you came out of it. You were drunk, you came out of it. You're here, you're a businessman, you did everything on your own, almost, and you say you don't know how to help people? I said, okay. So we started to set up this program, this 30 days program for drinking men, which is working great, by the way.
Beautiful.
I still do that, but with the time I figured that drinking is just a substitute. That can also be too much working, too much sport.
Oh, yes.
Too much porn, too much eating, too much whatever. So I zoomed out a little bit to see, okay, where's the problem with us men? Why do we do that? And then I figured that it's an emotional issue. And one coaching client of mine, he spotted that in 2 words. He calls that an emotional stoicism.
Oh.
Which is really like in 2 words what the male brain is. Because we think, basically, in one sentence, we think that if we show our feelings and open our heart, that you women, it's not the other man, we just pretend that the other man thinks like that, but we don't care what other men think, we think what you women think of us. So we think that you women think we're pussies.
Oh,
we're weak. We're not strong enough to protect you and the kids. But that's wrong. I mean, there has been a time like 100,000 years ago where probably it has been the case. We don't know if that's just a story made up or if it was really the case. Because there are still people where the female have all the power. I mean, you go to Africa, you look out there, a lot of communities, the female does everything, and the man just sits around all day, does nothing. So I don't know if that story is true. However, the time has changed, and we have to show our feelings in order to evolve. Time has gone that we have to be just this cursing and drinking and loud male that are emotionally totally unstable, and totally out of balance, basically. But we pretend to be in balance. We pretend to be the great leaders. We pretend to whatever. So that's what I'm doing now. And that's the story, long story, how I came to coaching.
Beautiful. And it's been a journey. I love it. I love it. And you know, something that I picked up from you the first time we started speaking, even before we had our virtual coffee, I love the fact that you are straightforward. You say it like it is, and that is your secret sauce, I'm sure, in your coaching as well. Because it must have been, you know, a whole transformation to have this transformation coach, as the word says, because he challenged you in those 30 days and he let you write out everything, you know, that you'd been through. So thank you for sharing that. The audience needs to hear this. These are the things I always tell the people, this is the good stuff. This is when we get to the topics that not everybody normally talks about. They gloss over it or they sugarcoat it, and then nothing happens, nothing gets restored, and nobody, you know, excels and exceeds. So thank you so much for that explanation. Now, we also had a discussion on physics, manifestations, and thoughts, and how they have the power to create. And I would love for you to tell the audience what you told me in our virtual coffee.
Oh man. So yeah, we talked about manifestation, we talked about meditation, we talked about quantum physics. So I had another coach, she's also on LinkedIn, and she taught me how to meditate. She taught me the universal laws, the universal law of attraction, of the universal law of change, the universal law of manifestation, etc., etc. I think it's 8 of them. I don't remember all of them. So the thing is this: a lot of people are talking about manifestations these days. You go on TikTok, every third video is about how to manifest $1 million, how to manifest a Lamborghini, how to do this and that. But most of them miss one very important point. And that is, if it's not for you, it won't happen. You know, example, if I wish my neighbor to drop that, and if it's not what the universe wants me to do, it won't happen. So, and they make it all look like it's all easy. You snap with your fingers and you got everything you want. Of course, if it's, first of all, really what you want, that's the first thing. Deep down inside, not just with your ego. You know, you want a nice car. That's ego. You want to show off, etc., etc. You want a house, you want a yacht, you want whatever. That's just to show off. But is it really what that little human being inside you wants? And if that's the case, that's one point. The second point is, if it's meant to be for you, like a little thing like that office, it has to be done. It had to be. So it was there. It was the right moment. It was really what I wanted. And then things happen. But it's not just, as I said, you can't just snap your fingers and then things happen. So, and these 3 points are very important to manifest things. And then there is probably the most important thing. You have to be sure. You have to know without a doubt that this will happen. And then you have to let go. And And this, in my opinion, this is the most difficult thing about it. Because we want to hold on to it. We want to have control. We think that, okay, when it's going to happen. And when we think like that, when it's going to happen, why isn't it here yet? It's broken. It doesn't work. So we have to be certain and trust that we have to have faith that it's going to happen. And then we just have to let go and forget about it. And go on with our lives. And then suddenly a phone call comes, or this comes, or that customer comes, or that business comes, or whatever. And that's what we talked about. And we talked about, I think, Joe Dispenza, right?
Yes.
And I did his meditations for like 1.5 years every morning. I stood up at 4 a.m. Still stand up at 4 a.m., but I do other meditations now. And I did it every single day. I did his meditations, and I have a whole Word document of what beautiful things were happening to me by letting go, by just thinking, okay, it's happening, it's cool, it's easy, I'm in the flow, everything is happening. A little example of that. I have one customer. He doesn't pay me by credit card or by bank wire. He pays me by PayPal. Even though he's in Switzerland, but don't ask me why. I don't ask. He pays me via PayPal. And then from PayPal to my bank account, it always takes like 2 or 3 working days. That's normal. It's PayPal. And they even write it to you. And every time it takes at least 2 days. So I sat there and I had a pile of bills to be paid. And I was like, actually, I need that money right now.
Mm-hmm.
On my bank account, so I can make my payment. Yeah. Because on PayPal, you do nothing with it. Yeah. And I was like, okay. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't happen, it's fine. People will call me where the money is. I will tell them it is coming. Yada, yada, yada. The whole thing. And 1 hour later, I had a notification on my phone like, bing, you have money on your account. I was like, where is this money coming from? You know, and I had a look. It was the wire from PayPal within 1 hour. Never happened.
Amazing.
You can go to the PayPal support page. You can ask them. You can write them an email if you don't believe me. It always takes 2 to 3 days. One freaking hour.
My goodness.
Manifestation works. I had also with the meditations of those two Dispenza, I had an experience of full bliss. And I really mean bliss. You know, where this, it's beyond words. It's really like you feel total and complete peace and bliss.
Wonderful.
And some other things. Some other weird things, some good things. But yeah. Or one little anecdote also. I was with a friend working in his office. And I was sitting at the window. And during lunch break, he went out. And I said, yeah, I'm staying here. I'm doing a little meditation. So he came back during my meditation. I was with my headphones and was doing a meditation. And he was sitting there working. And before I started the meditation, it was cloudy outside. And during the meditation, I had the feeling that the sun is shining on my face through the windows, you know, the feeling.
Yeah. So
I finished my meditation. I opened my eyes and I asked the friend, listen, is this where the sun is coming through or not? No, it was during all that hour you were meditating, it was cloudy. So no sun, so no possibility that the sun would come on.
Amazing.
One day I was off the planet a little bit, so I can confirm it's not flat, it's actually a sphere. But again, it's getting weird. You know, when you let go of your ego, when you let go of the being we are having here, and you accept there is, first of all, you have a higher consciousness, and there is a lot of things around us which are just magic,
Yeah.
then you actually also go through that magic and live the magic. So
I love it. I love it, and I love the way that you articulate that and describe that, because you understand how manifestations work. If you manifest something and it's not for you, the universe is not going to grant you that thing. And you have to, and you spoke about the ego. I think our egos come in the way of our manifestations more often than not. So that really, cutting short that ego and really just becoming one with the universe and with self and with others elevates you to the place where you can actually, like you had, have these experiences. Now, I've heard this saying before, where focus goes, your energy flows. And when you were discussing the pile of bills and you were, focused on that, your energy was on that. And in an hour, instead of 2 to 3 days, the PayPal payment came through. So these are all wonderful universal concepts that you broke open for me, that you just really, brought to the fore. So vibration, how do you, relate to higher vibrations, and the heart, the heart and the mind, the connection there, concepts like energy. What is your view on those?
I think it's not really my expertise. I'm just quote unquote a user of the things. But if you want to learn about that, you meditation is a good thing. Because it takes our ego out of the way.
Yes.
Now, a lot of people think that meditation is to not think at all, but this is impossible. I mean, try to not think. It's like trying to not breathe.
Exactly. Can't happen.
It thinks. It's not us. We're not our thoughts. We're not our feeling. It's just happening all the time. The Buddhists speak of monkey mind, like the monkey going from branch to branch, without stopping. So the goal of meditation is actually not to not think, but to get the monkey down from the tree and have it here. And every time the monkey goes away, the mind wanders again, you get it back here, and then it goes again and you get it back here. So to be able to manage your monkey mind, that's meditation. And then that you have different techniques, you have breathing techniques, you have this Kundalini breathing where all your energy goes on top of your head, etc., etc., etc. But that's not my expertise. I just do these things. And I meditate daily, so it's. But I can guide you to people who are experts in this kind of thing.
Fantastic.
But meditation is surely one thing. And what I work with my customers, it's the mindset. Because if it thinks anyway, and if our thoughts influences our life, why not then think differently? Because we always think that we are victim of our thoughts, that we cannot do anything about it. If I think the world is bad, okay, that's just a thought. It's not important. But it is, because if I constantly think the world is bad, it is. My environment is bad. I see bad things, I live bad things, I meet bad people. But if I constantly train my brain and my mind to think otherwise, to think, okay, no, the world is a beautiful place. I just have to do things that my life is beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's the work I'm doing with my clients, to first of all get their mindset on the right place.
I love what you said. It made me, about the monkey also, it made me think, I heard a mentalist saying one day that our mind is like the stranger within. We have certain things we want to do, but our mind keeps racing to other things, and we really have to get to a level of high performance mentality, I'd say, to tame that stranger within so that it aligns with us and stays with us focused in that moment. And yes, absolutely, we go through so many things, and I always tell people, what you give out to the universe is what it reciprocates. If you are negative all the time, that is what you are going to attract all the time. If you are positive and uplifted and a go-getter, and you decide this is going to be a certain way, then the universe will reciprocate that. And I have a secret thing that I do every single morning. I get up and I say to the universe, I wonder how wonderful this day can get. My day is just filled with amazing events and opportunities because I speak to the universe. I put that energy out there. And what will the universe do? It answers me. So thank you so much for your answer. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, of course. My sentence before my feet touch the ground in the morning is, whatever the universe brings me today is for my good.
Beautiful. That's another way of phrasing that. That's amazing. Yeah. Amazing.
But it goes even further. And that same coach I talked to before, my first coach, he's becoming now a friend and mentor. And he said, think about this, that we are actually the universe.
Exactly.
You don't have to pray the universe or to order from the universe. You are the universe. Yeah. So if you want to be another version of yourself, you just decide to do so.
Yeah.
But that's the next step. That's what I'm working on myself right now. That's where I'm at now.
Everything is energy. We are made of energy. I agree with that.
Yeah.
I absolutely agree with that. That's a wonderful point to add. And there's someone in the audience that needs to hear that. Thank you so much for that, Daniel.
I hope so.
We had a lovely discussion on the church.
Oh
my goodness. And I thought I had to put this in our interview. How do you view the church as an institution?
So, as I said in the beginning, we're not slaves. And for me, personally, the church is exactly this kind of institution that keeps us down.
Yes.
That keeps us in fear. If you don't do that, you go to hell. What hell? Where is this hell? What is this supposed to be? If you do what we tell you, you go to heaven. I mean, come on, really? And I know I'm going to upset a lot of people out there because the church is a huge institution, the Catholic Church especially. It's here for thousands of years. It has billions of followers, but these are the true criminals. Because don't get me wrong, what's written in the original Bibles, in the original ancient texts, written in not even in Hebrew, it's in
Greek.
No. It's
Aramaic.
Another language. Aramaic, it's Aramaic.
Yes.
It's apparently different than what we read today in the Bible. So these texts have been changed. The Bible has been changed. And that whole institution as a church is a political institution, not a spiritual one. It's not meant to do us any good. It's not meant for us to be the divine and creative and superpower human beings that we actually are and that we actually are meant to be. So for me, the church, it's a criminal institution. I don't know if your podcast gets censored for that, but I say that's what I think.
What we do here at Meticulous Moments is we put everybody's views out there. I always give them a freedom to speak what their views are, because we have to be real. We have to, work as leaders together, figure the puzzle out. So your views are respected, and I'm sure the audience will, digest what you've said, and they will relook a few things in their lives. So that is good that you bring your opinion. I always let people, I've got people from different religions on here, and we are all connected with the universe. So, and that's the energy that flows through us. So thank you for your view. I really appreciate that. I want to ask you.
Wait. I have something to add. If I talk about church, I don't talk about faithful people. I deeply respect
Yes.
people who believe in Christ, who believe in God. I have nothing against it at all. Who am I to say that it's wrong or right? I really talk about the church as an institution, not about faith
Yes, not the
itself.
people, not
Not about-
believers. Yeah.
So
No,
don't get me wrong on that, please.
not at all. That's how I perceived it to be as well. Thank you very much. We love believers and we love people. You are talking about the actual institution of the church. So absolutely, thank you for that. Now tell me, Daniel, you help people, specifically men, and I'm going to tie these two questions together because as I'm looking at them, they actually go together. You help men, you coach men, and you help people to find their higher purpose. How does that happen? How do you uplift men to believe in themselves, to experience their feelings without feeling guilty, to be themselves and really who they are? And how do you help men and other people that you work with to find their higher purpose in life?
So there must be a little misunderstanding. I don't help them to find their higher purpose.
Okay.
I just help them to open up. I help
Oh,
men.
open up.
I help men to get in peace with their emotions, to show them that even their sad emotions are not something bad.
Yes.
It's part of being a man. A man can be afraid. A man can be scared to death. And
Yes.
I just show men that to open up their heart and to let the little boy out
Yeah.
and to even cry and to open up to their partners, to their wives, to their kids. It's not something that will break them down, but it's something that will liberate them, that will make them strong. Because the thing is this, we men, we keep that facade up and that costs us a lot of energy. It costs us a lot of power, a lot of energy, and it's almost at some point, every man gets to the point where he barely can keep up that facade, and he wants to let go. He wants to open up, and he wants to break up that facade and say, "Okay, I had enough of it. I'm not happy. I'm pretending to be happy. I'm entering my home and tell my wife everything is fine."
Yeah.
Even though I cried silently in my car before entering home. And if a man is ready to do that, then I'm here. Then I'm the right man to talk to.
Yes.
But if you want to find your higher purpose, why your higher consciousness decided you to bring you into this life, that's not my coaching. But I can show you who can tell you.
Wonderful. How, for instance, did you find, through your coach, how did he navigate you to your higher purpose? I know there were a few days that you spent, with him, working with him, and how did you feel? Yeah,
that went over several weeks actually, and we had to clean up some old stuff first, some old imprints, some old belief systems before we could go and work on that. But that's his coaching. I'm not going to tell you about what he's doing. If someone is interested, I can tell him where to go, how to contact that guy. But it's, first of all, it's very intimate. I'm showing a lot of myself on LinkedIn. I'm vulnerable. I don't have any problems to show my emotions, but I'm not going to reveal how another coach is working.
Of course.
You know what I mean?
There's power. I actually had an interview with someone earlier this week, and I said to them, there is power in vulnerability.
Of course.
And we have to speak it and say it as it is. We have to go through the motions. We have to all let go of those preconceptions. We all need. I read a post the other day of a coach that I know, and his post said, never trust a coach that doesn't have a coach. So all coaches also need their own coaches. per se. So we always keep developing and learning, and shifting as we grow and as we raise our vibrations. And that's wonderful. So you work with men, you help them, experience their feelings, you validate how they feel. You make them feel comfortable with themselves, with having emotions. My goodness, it has been such a horrific thing that has been happening in history, to let men feel like they can't cry or like they're not allowed to show a weakness. I mean, we are all human beings. That is just a lie that has been believed for so many thousands of years. And it's always so good for me to see that men experience their emotions and that they're not shy to talk about it. I mean, I know bodybuilders that can tear up thick phone books, and they can, blow up warm water bottles like balloons because they are so strong. They can pull planes. They have these strong men competitions here in South Africa. And those are the men that in a worship service at the church or at a funeral stand and cry and express their emotions. So just because they are strong and they are men doesn't mean that they're not allowed to have validated feelings, to have expressiveness about them. So that's a wonderful thing that you're doing, and we need more of these coaches in the area of working with men, because society has changed a lot over the last few decades.
Yeah, and it's even I would even look at it from another point of view, that these bodybuilders you're referring to, these strongman competitors, they get their strength because they can open up.
Beautiful. I love that.
I was a craftsman. I did some boxing. I'm physically strong.
Wow.
I was never that strong as from the moment on I decided to open up.
Yeah.
And to be vulnerable and to be emotional and to cry. I cry at soap operas. I don't give a shit.
Of course.
And
why not?
And when I enter a room today, I don't even have to speak. People are turning around and looking at me because of the strength. Because physical strength is nothing.
Oh.
But mental strength and being centered and truly calm and truly relaxed within yourself as a man gives you strength and power when you enter a room on a meeting, or you go to pitch a product or so. People are just listening to you.
Yeah.
Because you have that calmness and you're relaxed. It's just yourself.
Yeah.
And that's why also it's not a marketing gig to show vulnerability and to share my deep feelings on LinkedIn. It's just who I am. And if I coach men to open up and I don't open up myself, how would that work? So,
yeah.
But the true strength of these men you're mentioning comes from within. And if you read books from highly effective and highly successful men, they're all, first of all, they're all spiritual. They have all a spiritual side, and they have all this emotional stability.
Yes.
Otherwise, they wouldn't be so successful. You can read books from various entrepreneurs on the planet. They wrote books, and famous books. And if you read between the lines there, of course, it's all about focus. It's all about energy. It's all about not listening to people that are negative. It's repeating itself. But if you read between the lines, it's always there. These are men who have discovered their true being, who are not afraid of showing emotions, who are not afraid of showing their fears, of talking about their fears. And that's why they're highly successful, and that's why they're highly effective and respected. It's not because of their muscles. We don't respect these men pulling these airplanes because of their muscles. We want that respect them. We respect them because of their focus, because of their sentiment, because they know they can pull these airplanes. That's why we respect them.
Absolutely, I couldn't agree with you more. I agree with you 100%, and I've seen and noticed that you are a very open person. You're very open spirit, And people are drawn to this because they want what is authentic. People don't want what's plastic. They don't want things to be sugar coated. They want what is authentic because they know in themselves they want what is real. So you bring that to people, and that's what people are drawn to. And that's amazing. And I'm sure that also spills over into your coaching, helping people just to take the masks off and be real for once, because we see so many television shows and we see so many people pretending to be what they're not. That is not good. Those are, negative external impulses. But to keep it real, take that mask off and say it like it is. We had a discussion about the church earlier. We had a discussion about a few things. Being straightforward makes you an authentic leader. So thank you so much for sharing that. I love that about you. And I think we need more people that are real, because people are getting tired of these masks and these pretentious people, out there pretending to be what they are not. We want what is real. So I wanted to ask you, how do you help people to move or shift from their preconceived ideas into freedom? Does that come with love and acceptance? What is the process, or what's the starting point? Let's say the starting point.
So the process is always a little different depending on why a man comes to me. There's various reasons. Some of them come to me because they're not happy in their careers. Some of them come to me because their wife threatened them to walk away with the kids. Some of them come to me because they're drinking too much. Some of them come to me because they're impotent, or whatever we may have problems, but it all comes down to the same thing. So what I usually do in the first 2-hour session, which I call the power coaching session, we dig deep. So I let them talk. They can't start to talk. They start to tell me what their challenges actually are, and we go deeper and deeper and deeper. And very often, even after half an hour or 45 minutes, they start crying. But not because I'm mean to them or I scold them, or so, because it just comes up. And that seems to be my superpower. It comes through me. So this kind of energy goes through, even through Zoom, and they just crack open. And then, depending on what comes up, we work towards whatever direction it goes. But very often, almost all the time, it's a mindset shift we have to do. So we do several exercises about mind shifting, about also experiencing our higher consciousness, which is above our heads, actually. With going into your heart, with experiencing a little bit with mini meditations, very short meditation, that there is something else, that the body and the ego and these emotions, that is something above. And that's the first thing. And then over the first several weeks or so, we train the mindset in accepting the fact that you can cry. And it's okay to feel like a baby. It's totally fine if you're not able to express yourself in front of your woman. It's okay. Just let go. It's fine. The more we're afraid of things like that, the more we focus, as you said before, where your focus goes is where your energy goes. So we let go of that focus. We change the mindset, we change the focus on something broader. And then we figure out, okay, what's the behavior change? What needs to change in your behavior to support that change of mindset? So if another man comes to you and tells you, why you're crying? You're a pussy. How do you react to that? And in the third step, there is action taking. So clean up old things, for example, clean up material things, get rid of some fake friends, get rid of some poisonous relationship, get rid of your job if necessary, get rid of whatever is not in balance, in accordance to that new mindset and a new behavior.
Yeah.
But it's individual, but that's how I did it, and I'm teaching what I did to come to this place without all the zigzag thing. Okay,
Yes.
because if you do it, it takes you years, and I'm condensing that down into months.
You see what happened. I saw that because I told you you are a straightforward person. So you save people the zigzag process, the frustration. You get right to it, and you have this program and this process that you use that is proven to work, and you are making a wonderful, wonderful impact in the lives of so many men. And we need that because we need the men to be strong and to stand in society authentically. If they need to cry, they can cry. It's not a bad thing to show emotions. It means that we are human. And I believe actually that crying for them and really expressing their emotions will just also build their relationships stronger. So I love that. Absolutely love that. And I've got two final questions for you, my friend. I mean, this has been a wonderful session. You are so open and expressive. I love that. I want to ask you, what is next for you? Because I see you doing all these wonderful things on LinkedIn. And I want to ask, do you have any words of wisdom for the audience to leave them with? We are very, very excited to share this with you.
So what's next for me? It's helping as many men as possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's next for me. And what I wanted to share with men out there is try to imagine the following two scenarios. The first scenario is you sitting in your car, in your garage, crying in silence. And then entering your house and pretending in front of your family that everything is just fine. That's one scenario. And then you picture another scenario where you enter your home.
Yes.
And you embrace your wife and you start crying in the arms of your wife. And then you have a discussion with your wife. And then you solve things. And then you can stop crying. And you're relieved. And you're peaceful and you're happy because it's all in the open now and it's all good. And your wife still loves you even more.
Even more. Yes.
So these are the two scenarios, my brother out there. What is it you want? The first one or the second one? If you want the second one, I'm here to help you. If you want the first one, I will still be here in a few years if you're ready. Then I'm still here.
You see, that's what I love about you. I'm super excited to know you. I'm super blessed to know you because these are the things that I've been working on so many years in leadership training. And I see someone out there really caring about other people. And I love what you said at the end. You said, well, if you choose scenario, the first scenario or the second scenario, I'll still be there for you. I'll still guide you through it. And that to me is just amazing. It's amazing to see that you are transforming lives and to think it all started those years with a few beers. Wonderful. Do you have any final comments for the audience before we close, or anything you want to leave them with? I'm going to make Daniel's social media handles available on the session. Follow him, network with him, and cheer him on this wonderful journey. But any final words from you, Daniel?
Yeah, during November, it's like some days left. I'm offering 2-hour power coaching sessions for free.
Wow. So that I'll also put in the description. That's amazing. Grab your session, change your life, and have, that peace and that calm. When you were speaking about the husband coming in, crying in his wife's arms, feeling that peace and that joy, she still loves him, she still supports him. I could see it playing out in my mind's eye. So thank you so much, Daniel, for your wonderful time. You're amazing. I love it.
Can I say something else?
You may.
In these two scenarios, the thing is, what we men don't understand is the following. We always think that you love us because we're strong and stoic.
Yeah.
But what we don't get is that you women, you see beyond that. What you love in us is not that. That makes you feel safe. Okay, cool. But what you love in us is the vulnerability and the little boy and the tears and the big heart. That's why you fall in love with us, not because of our muscles and not because of our stoicism. So if you're able to show that again to your wife, she will love you again because that's the man she fell in love with. Now I'm done.
This is if I had a microphone here, that would be a mic drop. Boom! Because you just spoke to men and women. You just reminded men why their wives fell in love with them, and you just reminded the wives why did they fall. And so I'm gonna get a microphone and do a mic drop for you just for that comment.
Okay.
Thank you so much for spending this time with us. I deeply appreciate you. I'm going to put it on all the social media platforms. I know people are going to be drawn to what you do, like I was, your ministry, your movement, your coaching. And I really feel that the universe is using you just to uplift. And you are doing a great work. Thank you for teaching people the right way. And with that, we would like to say to the audience, we'll see you in the next session. My goodness, I'm sure you enjoyed this session just as much as I did. Goodbye.
Thank you. Bye.